Today we're going to be looking at the data preview tool with an Eco Risk Projector. So you're going to want to start by either creating a new system or opening an existing one. So for example here I've got this Mary River system which has got a couple gauges from the Mary River across pre-development and full entitlement with a bunch of different flow data on there. So in order to open the preview, you need to have at least one scenario and one location present, and then this button will be clickable, and simply click it and you'll get a tool come up. It will first load all of the data you've uploaded, which will depend on how much data you've uploaded as to how long it takes. And then you can see a bunch of different comparison options across your locations, scenarios, and data types for linear and log axes, and also a magnitude duration curve. So starting with the first view you see, which will have your default scenario, in this case pre-development, and then the flow data type for compare locations. This allows us to compare the different locations we've created. In this case, we've got these 3 gauges for pre-development for flow data across the full period. So we see that there. So this is showing us basically the flow data for this location, and this location that we've uploaded on pre-development. We can then also see a magnitude duration curve for those 3 options on also pre-development. Now we have a tooltip, so you can see the data for a specific day. You can also interact with these charts through zooming. So if you hold shift and then drag, you can zoom in like that. And if you double click, you'll zoom back out, and you would have seen there, but if you're zoomed in, you can pan around by just clicking and dragging along. So you could then say, actually, I want to see for full entitlement, and this will show us this data for full entitlement and also the magnitude duration for full entitlement. We could say, actually, we want to look at depth. So you can see we got the depth data. And rainfall, same thing. And of course, if we head back to flow, you can then go ahead and toggle different series. So here we might just want to look at this one gauge. We could also choose to look at it on a linear scale as well, linear axis. So with flow data, this you can't see too much because you have some really big flows, but it is more useful, for example, with rainfall, which is much more normalized, or even temperature. There you go. So here we can see it on a linear scale, and same thing of course with magnitude duration with a linear scale. And this has all 3 data series on it. Now if we want to instead compare scenarios, we can move across, and so this allows us to see the scenarios charted for each location. So here we're looking at this one specific location and the data uploaded on both. So here it looks like the temperature data is exactly the same on both full entitlement and pre-development. Now if we look at flow, it'll probably be different. No, in this case we've got the same data uploaded on both. So this is a great way to be able to determine effectively if you've made a mistake in your data or you've uploaded the wrong file. So here we'd see this and we'd probably go back and double check that we haven't uploaded the same file by accident. Regardless, what we can do is, for comparing across different things, these charts will remember your settings and help keep them basically toggled on or off. So you can, for example, if I just want to look at this one node, I'm looking at full entitlement and I switch to pre-development, it'll update. And so it's still got just this one node, but we're looking at pre-development versus full entitlement. Same thing if I was to go to depth. You see, we've got just this one node. It doesn't re-toggle these on. Again, with zoom, if I was to go ahead and I zoom in on this smaller period here, and I go to flow data, you can see we retain that same period. So let's say I zoom in on this, and I say I want to use log axis. We maintain that same period. Go to log axis. Say, oh, there's no data here. Oh, well, that's just because there was 0 flow on that day. Oh. Yeah, 0 flow on some of those days in there. and the log of 0 is not a thing, so we have gaps. And again, we maintain our selection. We could also go to compare scenarios and we'll maintain the same selection. So this makes it really easy to compare across. So here it looks like for flow, we do actually have different data, which is very, very similar. And we were able to determine that because we looked at a small time series and then we moved back and forth. So that is an overview on how you can use and interact with the data preview tool within Eco Risk Projector.